If you have a kindergartner, first grader, second grader, and you're noticing that they are having a hard time with learning to read, maybe a teacher has told you, maybe you've noticed it yourself when you're trying to get them to read to you, this video is for you. I want to help talk about what it is that you're seeing and noticing that is a problem. If you're noticing these things, this is a problem. And what might be causing those things to happen. Let's talk about that layer of what is it that they're missing? What is it that you need to be working on with them to help them catch up? The earlier you can get your kids caught up with their reading, the better. Research is so clear that kids who leave first grade on track are much more likely to stay on track. And unfortunately, the reverse is opposite too. Kids who leave first grade struggling tend to stay struggling. The vast majority of them will continue to struggle with reading, with writing, with communicating, and all that stuff. So we want to make sure if you have a child in kindergarten, first grade, and second grade too, let's fill in these gaps. But in order to fill them, we have to find them. So let's talk first of all, is it a problem what you're seeing? These things are problems. These things, especially for the first and second graders, that should have their mastered a bunch of these early skills, these are problems, okay? If your child is reading to you and they guess based on the first letter. So if they get to a word with the letter M and they just start throwing things out there, monster, mom, milk, mumble, oh, and they see the first sound and they just fill it in with what they think it could be. This is a problem. This means they have been trained to just think about that first sound and what could make sense, and that's not effective because how many words start with that sound? Lots of words. So we don't want kids guessing off the first letter. This is a sign they need help. If they just straight up skip words. They get to a word they're not sure and they just go, nope, and they just skip right over it. And we know that happens. If your child is doing that, that's a problem. That means they don't feel like they have the skills. They either haven't been taught the skills or the skills are not brought to mastery where they can decode that word. So that is a problem. If they try to decode, but it is very slow, like not just like a little bit slow, but like, oh my gosh, it's so slow that they usually read it wrong then. Maybe they blend the sounds together wrong. Og, donut, and they just kind of guess then. Something like that. So if they're decoding really, really slowly, they have gaps in their early skills. It's time to jump in and help them. If your child forgets words really quickly, if it's one of those where they knew a word on one page and then the next page, it's like poof, this magic fairy comes in and just knocks that word right out of their head. This is a sign that they need help. They have gaps and they need help with their skills. And finally, this one is a little more subjective. This one is if they are reluctant to read out loud. So this might look like they insist on you read. They love being read to, but they do not want to read aloud. This might be turning into fights. Maybe they're fighting about reading time. This might be tears. This might be you hear at school, they go to the bathroom a lot during reading time. Like, oh, wow, they seem to always have to go potty during reading. Interesting. Or they have to go to the nurse because they have a tummy ache. These are all signs that there are things going on where reading needs to be worked on and addressed. So let's talk now. These are kind of the signs that, okay, my child has a problem. If any of these or all of these are resonating with you, keep watching, okay? Because typically with younger kids who are showing these signs, there is one of three things going on. Typically, there's always exceptions, but I've worked with, let's see, we just passed 2,350 families that we've worked with in the last 2 years. And then I was a classroom teacher and a reading specialist before that for over a decade. So I've worked with thousands of families, thousands of kids, and this is the pattern I see over and over that if they are missing, if they're struggling, they need to work on one of these three things. The first thing is phonemic. Oh, phonemic. There, I did spell it right. Awareness. So simply put, this is just being aware of the sounds and words. Can they break up words into their individual sounds? So if I say the word plant, can they say all 5 sounds? P, a, n, t. Are they going pull, a, n, t? If they're doing that and coming up with 3, they're probably having some spelling problems. They're not hearing all the sounds. They're probably spelling it pull, a, n, t, or pull, a, n, t. That's very common. So that's something that could be going on. Also blending sounds. If you say the sounds, if you say p, l, a, n, t, can they quickly go plant? They have to be able to do it. They shouldn't even have to think very hard. If they have to think about it If it takes them a while to come up with it, there's gaps here. We need to make this really, really solid. This is the foundation for everything. And it's unfortunately something that a lot of teachers and a lot of parents want to skip over. It's not that important. Who cares? It's very important. This is like that foundation of your house. You don't even see the foundation, right? It's covered up with stuff. You don't really see the phonemic awareness. It's a little less visible, but it needs to be there. It's so important. I want you to take a second and think about your own child and where they are. Are they green? Like, I know they can break up any word. They can blend sounds together. This is so easy for them. 100%. This is not their issue. Is it yellow? Like, maybe they're not that fast. They need a little more review type of thing. Or is it, let me get my red here. Or is it red? Red is like, oh, they need to work on this. This really is a struggle for them. They have a hard time with hearing sounds, breaking up words, putting sounds together, picking out sounds. Can they tell you the first and the last and the middle sound of a word? If that's hard for them, give yourself a red. And that just means, it doesn't mean bad, you're terrible, oh my gosh. No, all it means is that, okay, we're going to focus on this. Now you know, opened up your eyes and you're aware of something to work on. The second issue, so a lot of kiddos have problems with phonemic awareness that they need to address. The other one is letters, like just basic letters. And again, if you have a first, second, third on up, you might want to assume they know their letters. They know their letters. Come on, that's an easy one. They've been working on this since they were 2. But if they have not mastered their letter names, their letter sounds, and writing their letters, we want all 3 skills to be mastered. What does it mean to be mastered? It means that they do not need to put a lot of effort into it. They don't have to sit and think about it. What does the J spell again? J? That's not mastered. If you say spell the J sound, and they're like, is it this one? That's not mastered. They got there, but they need more practice. It's not a mastered skill, because you can imagine they get to a word then, and it's taking them a minute to get to the J, they're not going to get the rest of it. So that is the other part that a lot of kiddos, even older kiddos, need to go back and focus on these. And finally, kind of the connection of these two is phonics. So phonics is that decoding part. So are they able to pick out the sounds in a word, blend them together when they're looking at them, and read that word? Phonics has a lot of different sub parts so that make up phonics. So it could be, do they know their short vowels? Do they know their long vowels? There are controlled vowels. Do they know blends? Do they know the syllable types? This is just tip of the iceberg. There's tons of things you need to know with phonics, and this is what's going to lead to effortless decoding and fluent decoding. Hold on one second. Sorry, my daughter came in for a second, so I just had to pause it and see what she needed. But yes, so phonics is the other part that a lot of kids are missing, and this is what's holding them back. So I forgot to do this for letters, but I want you to go through for a second. Pause if you need to and think through letters. Start with letters first. Are you red, yellow, or green? Green is like, I know 100%. They know other letters. They can easily do names, sounds, and writing. Yellow is like, they have a few they're still working on, or I know writing is kind of tricky. There's still some gaps. Red is like, this is definitely an area we need to focus on. This is something that could definitely be holding them back. And now do the same for phonics. How are they with their decoding? If they're the kids that are guessing or skipping or taking forever to decode a word, that's how we're going to grade ourselves. Green is like, no, they can read words so easily. I have a feeling if you're watching this, you might not be a green yet, because we're watching this with what's holding them back from being able to decode and read fluently and all that stuff. Yellow is like, a lot of words they can do, but there's some that they really struggle with, or sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. And red is like, no, this is definitely an area that we can grow in and continue to work on. Now you have an idea, and I'm going to rewrite it down here so you can look here. Of the 3 areas, we have our phonemic awareness, we have our letters, and we have our phonics. And this is what's going to come up making a very fluent reader. These are really essential to helping your child become more fluent. When you're more fluent, which means you can make your voice sound like talking, you can now understand what you're reading so much better. So that's why being fluent is very important. Which of these areas are you going to focus on today? I would say the first one to start with would be PA. So if you are red or yellow, I would start there, then go to letters, and then go to phonemic awareness. Which one are you going to focus on today? What activity are you going to do to strengthen it. And now, no, it doesn't take one session. You're not going to work on something once and they're going to master it. It's going to take time, but you got to start somewhere and you got to start today. Now, if you are like, I don't know how to help with these. If you're like, I don't know, do they need blending? Do they need segmenting? What letters do they need? What are the phonics skills? If any of this is running through your head, I want you to click the link below and check out the Miss Buddy Reads Kit, because we do all of this for you. We will teach your child phonemic awareness so that there are no gaps. We will find and fill any gaps they have with letters. We will find and fill any gaps that they have with phonics. And that is going to lead to where all of us, we all want your kids to be here, being a fluent reader, a confident reader, an independent reader. That is what the Miss Buddy Reads Kit can do for your family. And all you have to do is hit play. Isn't that amazing? Like, that, your job, so easy. Cheer them on. We do want you to be their cheerleader, and hit play. And if you can do those things, you can get your kids fluently reading. Doesn't matter if they have dyslexia, ADHD, autism, doesn't matter. The Miss Buddy Reads Kit can work on filling in any of the gaps and can get them reading and also loving it, because I've heard time and time again, it feels way more like a YouTube channel than like a reading program or a tutoring session. So I'm just saying, we are a fresh take on tutoring. We want to meet the kids where they are, make it exciting, fill in their gaps, and make it easy for you. So go ahead, check out the link below. You can reach out to us anytime. We have a nice long email. I'll put it here. hi@developingreadersacademy.com. So if you want to chat about anything, your specific child, to see if it would work for your child, let us know, and I will talk to you directly about if this is a good fit or not. If not, though, I want you to walk away knowing, which one of these are you focusing on today? Do one thing today. That is my challenge for you as a parent. Do one thing to fill in just a little bit of a gap, and do it consistently, and you're going to start seeing some pretty amazing results. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll have more coming, so make sure you subscribe, and see you later.